Hey everyone, welcome back to Cuddy's bookshelf. So it is time for April's reading wrap up and oh my goodness, so I was panicking, not gonna lie, in April because I unwrapped, as I normally do with my TBR, I unwrapped it and I jumped straight into the Zodiac Academy because I know that in April the last of the Zodiac Academy was coming out and I really wanted to like have the build up to it, not so much refresh my memory because I've already read the whole series twice before, but I just really like having the rereading the books that come beforehand and then having the build up to the new book. So I jumped straight in, and when I say Zodiac is quite a big series, I've piled it up. I was just going to show you the new book, but I thought I would show you. So the first one is 0.5, which is the origins of an academy bully. So I read this one. This one was tiny, so flew through this one. Then the first official one is the Awakening. So this gets a little bit more chunky. Absolutely loved it. Devoured it. Obviously, I love this series. If you are new to my channel, I absolutely adore Zodiac Academy. There is just something in these pages that is addictive and you just have to know and keep turning the pages so you fly through them. This is number 2. This is a Ruthless Fae, and this is so similar, just a little bit thicker than number 1. Number 3 is the Reckoning. We're starting to get a lot chunkier now, and I just love this series so much. The more I go down, the more I love it. The characters in this are so they're so addictive, and there's one character in the first few books I'm like, I hate him so much, and by the end of the series he is one of my favourite characters, and so the character development in this is incredible. But anyway, number 4 is Shadow Princess, and getting chunkier. I am so proud of myself that I've managed to read all of these. And then we have 5, which is Zodiac Academy Cursed Fates, and this is the chunkiness of that bad boy. These are so heavy with them being like self-published as well. And then we have another little novella, so this is a tiny one, and this is 5.5, and this is the Big ASS Party. The Big Ass Party. Then we have 6, which is Fated Throne. And again, a chunky one. Then we have 7, which again is really chunky, and it's Heartless Sky. I love the covers of these as well. I love the Zodiac, so. Then we have number 8, which is the Sorrow and Starlight, and this is chunky. And when I say these books are chunky, not only do they look chunky, but the size of the text is tiny, so you get a lot in these books, and I'm not mad about it. I would have them all be so big. Then we had another novella, which was 8.5, which is Beyond the Veil, and chapter 21 of this book I think is one of the most hilarious scenes I've ever read. It will never not be, even just thinking about it, I want to laugh out loud because the situation that happens is just so funny. It's just so funny. So yeah, 8.5. And then you also have book 1, so The Awakening, which is the first book. This is The Awakening as told by the boys. So you see it from the boys of the Zodiac's point of view. So you can, I tend to read this towards the end because obviously you know what happens in number 1, but I like the build up of seeing more about the boys, their character development first before going back into this, because when you go into this you sort of see them from a different light, but I like the gradual build of that. So yeah, there's that one. And then this got delivered. Oh. Well, technically these got delivered. This is another novella, which is Zodiac Academy Live and Let Lionel. So this is some short stories that happen around the Zodiac, and I've read this last month on my Kindle. Absolutely loved it. Each of the chapters has like an introduction by Lionel. If you've read the Zodiac Academy, you can imagine his point of view on the characters that are in this book, and it was just a great little novella to lead up to the release of this one. So this again is a chunker, the writing's tiny, and this is Restless Stars. You would have seen, if you would have seen my videos at the end of last year, beginning of this year, when I was talking about this book being in my hands, you can imagine the excitement that I felt when this came through the door, and I jumped straight into it. I had no chill. So at this point, I had then finished the series. The roller coaster of emotion that you get in this book, because you know stuff's got, like, shit's gonna hit the fan. You know that all ties, everything is down to this book. I had to keep taking breaks from it. I was like putting it down. I'm like, I need to go get some fresh air. I need to I need to chill my emotions. But this was incredible. Absolutely loved it. It was 5 stars, and I highly recommend this series so much. As it came to me finishing the Zodiac Academy, I was panicking, because at this point, yes, I had read a big stack of books. Like, this is, I'm just moving my hand across, it comes to here with the stack, and I'm just sat on my butt. So it comes to here, and I was panicking. So I was like, I have not read any books that's on my physical TBR for this month that I'd unwrapped. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I jumped straight in to Tessa Bailey's Happenstance, because I thought it's a romance, it is a quite short one, and I generally fly through romances anyway. This one was not my favourite of Tessa Bailey's. It was very insta everything. It was basically just a book on smut. Like, I prefer the build-up, but this one didn't really have that, which was disappointing, because I really do like Tessa Bailey's books, but this is the first one that I've been like, nah. This is about a woman called Elsie who is trying to be a journalist, and she's trying to sneak into places that she shouldn't be. So she's trying to make this getaway and gets into this cable car, and then all the power goes down, and she's stuck inside this cable car with these 3 men. None of the men know each other. So while they're stuck in this, they start to get to know each other a little bit, and then they all are obsessed with her. Track her down, they want a relationship with her, all 3 of them, and it goes from there, and it's very just insta. I liked some of the way that it developed in some of the aspects, but it wasn't my favourite of Tessa Bailey's. Then I also had 2 manga on my TBR, which was Goodbye Eerie and the Mimi's Tales of Terror, and I really enjoyed both of these. This one, oh my goodness, so this is about a boy whose mum is dying, and she's asked him to film her until, because he likes to film, like, likes videography and stuff, so she's asked him to film her until her last breath, and he makes a not very tactful video for his school for a school project, and people call him out on this, and then he meets a girl called Eerie who is making him watch films with her, and she's like, I will help you make the best film that you can. If you watch loads of films, you will see all of the things that yours was missing, sort of thing, and she helps him, and there is a big twist in this that I was not expecting, and I do recommend. I'm not going to mention the trigger warnings on here because it's sort of a spoiler, so, but I would check trigger warnings if you are going to read this. yourself unless you're not bothered by any trigger warnings and you want to go in blind. That's why I won't mention it. But it was a really, really, really good manga. I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed Mimi's Tales of Terror. So with this one, it is original stories by Hiro Katsukahara and Ichiro Nakayama, but the artwork is done by Jinjuitsu. If you know my channel, you know I'm obsessed with Jinjuitsu. I absolutely love his horror mangas. So he does an amazing job with the illustrations on this story. So it's actually loads of short stories built up into one, and they all involve Mimi, and I love that. They are some of my favourite Jinjuitsu books, are ones where it's different stories but has the same reoccurring character throughout, and this was no exception. Absolutely loved it. But I really do think that I'm going to enjoy more stories by other people but illustrated by Jinjuitsu, because I was a little bit apprehensive but excited to see how he would go about that, and it did not disappoint. Absolutely loved it. So they're the two mangas that I read. Then I went straight into One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. See, this one, I did enjoy it, but I was expecting more from it, because I know that this is a really popular book. I think it's been made into either a TV show or a film or something along those lines. So I was expecting a lot more from like the twists in this, but it wasn't a book where I was like, I need to know, I need to know, I need to know. It just was okay. This was about 5 kids that had been put into detention, like 5 teenagers that had been put into detention, but they had been set up. Someone had put a phone in their bag when actually that wasn't their phone. So they all end up in this detention, and one of them ends up dying, and it goes on to being this big whodunit throughout the book. It was alright. It was alright. Not my favourite thriller, but it was okay. Then I read The Whispering Muse by Laura Psal. I really enjoyed this. So this is about a girl who is providing for her family because their oldest brother had left them in the lurch. So she needed a job because she got sacked from her old job being a maid. And she, with her brother disappearing, she gets offered a job at this theatre that her brother had once worked at before he vanished. And he didn't necessarily vanish. He ran off with a woman to another country. So she gets offered this job, and deaths happen, and there is a lot of talk of cursed things being cursed and people acting really bizarre. It was quite good. Really like gothically haunted type book. It's not my favourite from that sort of genre, but I did really enjoy it. So yeah, I also read this. And then I read the last one that I've got up to yet in the D.I. Helen Gray series, and this one is Cat and Mouse. So obviously I can't say too much with this because this is 13. Is it number 13 or 11, 12, 13? I don't know. It's the last one that's currently out in the D.I. Helen Gray series. I know that there's another one coming out because I'm waiting to pre-order the paperback, but it's only available in hardback at the minute. But this one, the deaths, this woman is getting ready for bed and she hears her front door going and she assumes that it is her husband. But once the person is sat on the edge of the bed and she feels the weight, she's like, well, that is a bit more weight than what usually is. And then she smells someone that doesn't smell like her husband, and it goes from there. Her body is found. D.I. Helen Grace and her team are on the case, and then obviously through this as well it has other storylines going off with the characters from the series that's been throughout the series, so I can't really mention those. But yeah, you're back with D.I. Helen Grace and the team. Everybody knows how much I love this thriller series. I really enjoyed this one. This is so good, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. I'm a little bit gutted that I've managed to catch up, but not at the same time, because now I get to be excited with everyone else with the new release. But again, I just love this series. I really, really do. So if you want a new thriller series, MJ Aldridge's D.I. Helen Grey series is amazing. Although I do have a standalone from MJ Aldridge, the Eye for an Eye, is it? So I do think I might add that to my TBR for next month, because I don't think I could go without the thrillers for a month. Oh, what I'm going to do with the month after. Oh. And then the last two books, I know I managed to squeeze a lot in, but I have been working on my, if you've seen my Witch Casket unboxing, you will know that I said I've got a new spell book. It's more of a grimoire, and I have been reading a lot, and I read these two, Natural Magic and Earth Magic by Lindsay Squire. I love these. These are so good for information, but not just what's the word, like a lot of writing. You get a lot of illustrations, and they are just absolutely beautiful books. And you will see that I can't really show you this one because it is currently with my new grimoire, which is over there. I am writing some information that I'm getting from it into my grimoire for, you know, future references and stuff. But I really highly recommend these books if you are into like witchcraft or anything. Highly recommend. And I just love them. And I love that under the dust jacket, so you take the dust jacket off, they are absolutely beautiful underneath, but then you have are underneath the dust jacket as well. So, but you can use these. This is a pendulum one that you can use with your pendulum, your scrying, which I just think is amazing, having something that can actually help you within your craft as well. But yeah, I highly recommend these. Absolutely love them. I know these last two are more non-fiction and not for everybody, so I won't go on about them. But yeah, I am currently, because I have got all of Lindsay Squire's books, I've also got out, which will probably be in next month's reading wrap up, I have got the tarot one, the tarot magic, and the astrology magic, which is also by Lindsay Squire. And I'll also have pre-ordered, she has a new book coming out. I'm not sure when it comes out, but she has just put a notice out to say that you can pre-order it now, so obviously I've done that also. So yeah, highly recommend these two. And that, whew, is all the books that I read. And I am quite proud of myself. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to show you lifting them all up, because... So these are the ones that's not Zodiac Academy that I read, which I managed to read them quite fast, so I'm quite proud of myself. This is the first half of the Zodiac Academy books, and then this is the second half. So there is, I've read quite a lot of chunky books, but the only book I didn't read that was from my unwrapping my TBR, and I really want to read it. I'm so excited to read it, and it is Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff, because obviously that was a chunky one, so I knew I was going to try and get through all of the rest first with me reading the Zodiac Academy. But next month's a new month, and I don't know what I'm going to be getting from my cart, but I'm also thinking of adding Empire of the Vampire on there, and then also as a punishment for not reading it this month, I think I'm going to read it along with Empire of the Damned. So that is two chunky books, vampire books, that I will be adding on. So you'll probably see that in my unwrapping of my TBR. But yeah, that's all the books that I've read this month. I hope your reading month has been amazing. Let me know what you have been reading, what you've been rating. Is there anything that you've read that I need to read? Because you know I always love a recommendation. So yeah, let me know. I did just want to mention that Happenstance was a gift from my mama, and she wrote me a lovely message inside, and so thank you, mama. I love you loads. And Cat and Mouse was also gifted to me by Kirsty, so thank you, Kirsty. I really appreciate it. Absolutely loved it. Thank you so much. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more from me, please subscribe. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye! So this is Ruthless Fae. Then we have 8, which is like the chunkiest of chunks of boxers. And he makes a very what's the word I'm looking for? I'm stuttering all over the place. I think that's going to be a really good time for me. I don't know what I'm saying. Then I went into One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. This was okay. And then I'm out of breath. I keep burping on them. So yeah, that is all the books that I've read. I've already said that. You know I devoured these with a nice cup of tea. Oh, cup of tea. I wonder if I can get Daniel to make me a cup of tea. This is how high the Zodiac get piled up. Look, hold on. I'm starting to put my other books on the top. It doesn't take much for them to come in the view of the camera. So this is, I mean, I'm not tall, I'm short ass, but this is the stack that I've read. Oh, I absolutely loved the new Zodiac. I also really loved this. So, Live and Let Lionel. I hope he dies 1,000 deaths.